Hey guys, welcome to Bro Flow, Yoga for Men. Today we're going to focus on hip openings. I'm going to go over some basic movements, like the vinyasa, what you're going to do pretty much in every vinyasa yoga session you ever have. We're going to go through some lunges, some warrior poses, crescent warrior, warrior one, and warrior two. And then we're going to finish off with some restorative poses. Those are going to be lizard pose and half pigeon. So let's start. So we usually start in down dog, which is just like this. Your hands are out in front. They're a little wider than your feet. Your feet should be about 6 inches to 12 inches apart. Um, you're pressing back on your heels to try and reach your hips up and back, and your head is looking down between your legs through the wall behind you, and you're pushing down on your heels. You're going to feel it in your calves, you're going to feel it in your hips, hopefully, and in your lower back. This is your safe pose. You're going to want to come back to this to restore after doing a particularly challenging pose, or any pose we actually do. You're going to come back to this. So let's just start with a couple of flows. So a flow works. You bend your knees a little, you look forward, and you jump or walk forward. Let's just walk forward to begin with. You raise about halfway. Try and keep the straight back when you're doing this. You're going to fold, forward fold, breathing out. And then you're going to inhale into the Tadasana, mountain pose. Reaching up, hands are straight. And then you're going with your feet together. You're going to breathe into a forward fold. Inhale into a half lift. And then return to down dog. So that was not a full flow, that's a variation. So with the full flow, you're going to have the chaturangas involved, which looks like this. So you're going to go forward on the very tops of your toes. Your body's going to be as straight as possible. You're going to have your arms in a little tighter than you would if you were to do a push-up. And as men, we try to compensate with our upper body strength. So in order to do a proper chaturangas or proper flow, you need to make sure that you're engaging not just your pectorals and your triceps, but your back muscles right here. Um, anything that's around here you want to engage. That's going to help prevent injury in the future, and then it can help you properly do this pose. So, coming back into the front leaning position, your toes all the way up on your toes, your body's tucked in, your elbows are in tight. You're going to go down just a little bit to the point where you can flip. Your toes are going to go under, and you're going to pull up your body up and forward. You're going to expose your chest to the sky as much as you can, and then push back into a down dog. So we're going to do that a couple more times just for a warm up. So bend your knees, look forward, walk forward, half lift, forward fold, Tadasana, mountain pose, hands all the way up, forward fold, half lift, and back to a front rest leaning position. Get ready for a chaturangas. Do that, get on the tops of your toes, pull your body as far as you can forward, tighten the muscles around your pectorals, in your back, and lower down. Keeping your elbows in tight. Flip your feet and pull up and through. And then push back into a down dog. Now your down dog, again, this is your safe position. So you come back here, take some deep breaths, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and then we're gonna start. So you're gonna raise your right leg, bring it forward and through between your feet, like that. You're gonna flip your back foot so that the tops of your toes touch the ground. You're just gonna raise up, and you're in a lunge pose right here. So when you're in your lunge pose, you're trying to bring your weight forward. This hip is pushing back. So your right hip right now is pushing back, and your left hip is pulling forward. Generally, you want to keep your hips in line, even if you're focusing on, let's say, a movement that will take your gaze to the right. or take a part of your body to the left. You want to be able to keep your body centered when you're doing that. Okay, so now we're going to come out of this. You're going to root your back foot, so my toes are down now. I'm going to come on my hands like this. Then I'm going to push back, reach my leg up as high as I can, extend, and then come back into my front leaning position. You can take a flow here if you want, or if you don't want to, you never need to. Again, tighten your muscles all the way on your toes, tops of your toes as far as you can forward. Lower down, pull up into an up dog, and then back into a down dog. You're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, so you're going to raise your left leg now, pull it forward, and then let your knee rest. Flip your toes so the tops of your toes touch the ground, and reach up. Lean forward, so you're stretching your hip flexor right here. You should begin pulling this hip back into its socket and pulling your right hip up. I'm going to hold this for a couple more breaths. Okay, now root your back foot, root your hands, push up, pull into a three-legged dog with your left leg up, and come to a front leaning position. Get your hands in tight so that your elbows will be in tight. Squeeze, lower down, pull up into an up dog, and push into a down dog. For our next series, we're going to go into a crescent warrior. So that's going to look like this. You're going to start in your down dog. You're going to bring your feet together. Lift your right leg up. Pull it forward all the way through. And when you're pulling your leg forward, you want to use your core. You don't want to have to, kick your leg out to bring it up. You want to use your core. As men, we try to compensate our core with a lot of upper body strength. So you need to work on using your core to accomplish more tasks than you're used to. So we've got our foot between our hands. We've got our back foot rooted. We're going to come up just into a standing lunge pose. When you're doing this, you should make sure that your chest is tightened in, that you're not leaning forward, that your body's centered. You should be pushing on your back leg so that it's straight. I'm going to flip around just so you can see that. My back leg is straight, pointed. I'm trying to push my heel to the ground. My front leg is going to be 90 degrees. Thigh should be parallel with the ground. Should be a 90-degree angle between your lower leg and your upper leg. And my knee should be just over my ankle. It shouldn't be too far forward. If it's too far forward, you can probably move your back foot farther back. And if it's too far up, it's too far back and you're kind of like this, maybe bring your back foot up a little bit. So then after you've got your core engaged here, you're pushing back on your back leg, you've got a 90-degree angle in your front leg, reach your hands up, straight up. Sometimes here you can take an optional a little back bend, if that feels good for you. And then from here, I'm just going to lower down for now. You're going to make sure your back foot's rooted. Push back with your right foot now, the three-legged dog, and come to rest in a forward leaning position. Now we're going to do the same thing with the opposite leg. So the left leg comes up, reaches through and forward, plant my foot, make sure my back foot's steady, planted, foot straight, my leg is straight. I'm coming up, I have a 90-degree angle here, and pressing back with my back foot. My calves engaged so I can feel my calf stretching. I feel balanced. I'm in the middle right here. And then when you've got your core engaged, we've got a straight back leg, 90 degrees here. Reach your hands up. Go back bend if you want to. Hold here for a few seconds. We did a lot of many breaths on the last pose, so we'll do more here. Lower hands. Push back into a three-legged dog. Lower down. And let's do a flow here. So bring your hands in a little tighter. Make sure that your body's engaged. Make sure that your toes are all the way forward. And lower down. Make sure your elbows are in tight. That you're not just doing this with your arms, but you're using your whole body. And then pull up. Pull like you're going to go through the wall in front of you. You want to use your hands to actually pull your feet forward. Open your chest as much as you can, and then push back into a down dog.